Hello, everyone, and welcome. Happy Easter. Happy time of renewal, because that is really this movement, this motion, this experience that we are gliding through at this time. And many of you will be feeling different. If you stand still and drop into quietness in the mind, and quietness and stillness in and around you, you will notice. You will notice these differences in your body. So Gaia says we are expecting another big wave to come through today. I certainly felt a big wave in the weekend. I got woken with it. And so I had this experience of this very broad, wide and broad pulsation coming in through my spine from the lower spine, and was right across the breadth of my back. And I got that was a higher activation of a higher Kundalini energy. Hi, Rael. So we are having these experiences. We've had experiences of activations in all parts of our body, from the crown to the brain to the third eye. The throat's kind of been in connection with various things. We've had heart and higher heart activations. We've had solar plexus, very deep activations there. We've had the sexual energies. They have been activated, that creative energy in our second chakra, and our base chakra activations in terms of our security and our stability on the ground. And so right now we're in this effect where you might be feeling as though, I don't know, it'd be interesting to hear what's going on for you with this, Rael, but there's almost this sensation of gliding, as though I'm not quite here and I'm not quite there, but I'm okay. It's a very softening effect that we are feeling and experiencing. And I certainly noticed that in the environment of my family over this Easter time. There's quite a big group of us, and I noticed that there was, this beautiful softening in the way in which people were interacting with one another. And it's pretty soft in my family anyway, but I just noticed it. So we're expecting this big wave and expecting to feel that today, although I can tell you that Gaia has said that in the main we're receiving these in our sleep, so that it is easier for us to embed them and for them to be doing their work and the resistance is out of the way. So we've been having activations throughout the body, and it's various centers from the brain to the crystalline earth star chakra. But there have been stronger activations over this Easter period in our higher hearts, minds, and Kundalini. So we are now beginning to receive the higher versions of who we are. How can that be described? It's a very fine nuance, really. It's like the difference between love and unconditional love. It's the difference between being grounded and centered and connected to the earth and being in the knowing of it. It's the difference between being able to be in the cognition of something and for it to be like this fully realization. And it's the sense of trust. It's as though we've moved into the sense of absolute trust in the divine, or in our own essence, that there is purpose here, that we are moving, have moved, and have a little bit more to go, that there's no race here, that it's this collective contribution, this collective energetic wholeness that provides the reason for movement. So we're softer with it. We've got this knowing. The expectation of it has shifted out, and this knowing has come in. We can sit with it deeply embedded in our soul, and we know that we are in this ascension process. So we've had these ascension preparation waves, and we're just so on the edges of the actual physical movement through, both individually, collectively, and as the planet. Yes, so this Easter period, these stronger activations occurring in our higher hearts, minds, and Kundalini energy. So she is saying you will be more able to see now and know who you are, and for many, who is your higher divine counterpart. Some, or even many, may be guided now to move out of current situations in a very physical, tangible sense. So many of you may have thought, oh, I'm not sure if I'm in the right place, in the right job, in the right relationship, in the right house, in the right location. And so you may have sat with that kind of, not a wobble, but with a sense of you're not quite in ease with that. And so now many will be guided to take that physical, tangible step, or come into the sense of that regarding homes, relationship, partners, friends, jobs, and geographical locations. And she says you are likely to be examining how and what is required for you personally to come into balance, especially in relationships. So relationship with self, relationship with higher self, with family, both close and extended, and with partners in both work and in love. So she has said, be still in your mind. Remember that this month we are to focus on coming into becoming masters at being in flow. That's the kind of focus. Be in flow, be with what is, be gentle with self, be in allowance. We are changing, transforming, and expanding, and it's in a very, interesting way, because we're doing it in a way where we are sensing the experience of it, and we're more in okayness with it. We're more in acceptance of it. The other thing that we've gone through recently is and they're here again today, but we've been going through very, very strong higher heart activation. So that's in this area here in the higher heart. Oh, yes. So here it is. I wrote this on Saturday, so on the 16th. At 5:30 a.m. I awoke and I felt this pulsing energy surging through and moving up my spine. And 11 hours later, it was still present. I could still feel the heat of that energy all across my lower back. The quick spaceship analogy was that Gaia was in the driver's seat, the engine was running, and that we had liftoff. So if you've been following that on Facebook, that was where we were. She spoke about fluidic balance has now reached the tipping point. We now have more light than deep dark shadow in our world, and that elevation is imminent. So we're on this kind of movement, we're very close to just toppling into the next part. Strong dissolving now of our 3D world, of our matrix, where we are coming into more illumination, awakening, physical tiredness, and the general collective is feeling very weary and exhausted and needing naps. And it's a challenge, isn't it? Because even if we are in good form in our physicality and in good form with doing our physical exercise and doing what we need to do in terms of nutrition, it still is taking us to that point of exhaustion. And that point of exhaustion is all to do with this incredible alchemization that's going on in ourselves as we shift more and more into our crystalline form. So, take naps if you can and when you need to. This is all due to the alchemization. We are also moving out of patterns and programs that drive old ways of behavior. So just become more observant of that, of how that's shifting within you and around you with others. They're moving out, they're fading into the background. It's interesting because Gaia spoke about the general collective forgetting these old patterns, as though it would move out of their consciousness and they would forget about it. They would feel softer and gentler in their being. So they are letting go of resistance. They're able to absorb, accept, and move with this change without fighting against it in a way, because of the way in which these energies are affecting them. Oh, and she said it's like a faded memory of a bad experience. So that was interesting. Much transformation going on whilst people sleep, both at night and during the day. So, your body is changing during that time as the body sort of can get out of the way, the resistance can move. As though in suspended animation, often during the day, she is saying, slightly detached from what is going on. And as though in a summer haze, a foggy mind and a misty outlook, softening in outlooks and opinions, and there being less conflict and argument. So practicing in the softening of the need to be right. So that is something that she said would be a focus for humanity at this time, one of them. So just notice this change in self and beginning the practice also of being the observer of what is occurring. And this beginning with one's own thoughts, words, and actions. So many of us are in the practice of that. And if you're not, then just begin to do that. Just begin to notice. Be as though you are separate from yourself, watching and observing what it is that you are thinking, how you are behaving, what you're doing in your interactions. Thank you, those who have joined me here. So what have you noticed in your own changes of thoughts and behavior? What are you now holding more lightly, caring less intensely about? Because we are moving into the movie phase. The slightly slow motion, glazed over way of being and operating. We are becoming less serious, more warm in our hearts, and gentle in our voice, becoming less rigid. So I'll just leave you with that, those brief notes from Gaia over this weekend as we're moving into this absolute physical movement in our ascension, this feeling in our body of this wave moving through us, and just begin to notice the physical changes within self, and especially the behaviors of thoughts and patterns in self and in others as we navigate this beautiful dance through our ascension wave. And just know also that many of us are likely to just kind of fall off into a sleep as we have this ascension wave, because that's the easiest way for our bodies to receive this higher frequency. So there's been some reports of huge solar flares coming in, a big, massive one having been released from the sun today. So we're likely to receive that as well sometime in the next couple of days. And that may be it. So we're building this resilience where our bodies are being tempered, our bodies are coming into fitness to be able to receive these huge frequencies that we have never experienced before. And so we're developing our fitness. So keep in mind that that's what we are doing. We are developing ascension fitness. Do what you need to do for you. Rest, sleep, hydrate, move and connect with nature. And I will say thank you so much to those of you who are here. And yes, that's right, those changes, they are really nice. And this is what we are really required to do is to focus on that. Don't If we are focused on what is in this physical reality right in front of us, we're keeping us at that vibration. These are the higher echelon, higher frequency vibrations and nuances that are coming in preparation for us. And if we focus on those, we're really assisting our own elevation and our own getting out of the way for these energies that are coming through. So people who are holding on to a lot of density and sitting in resistance, they will physically feel it. So that's the whole idea of these preparation waves, is so that we can be in this fitness of receiving these higher frequencies. So much love to you from me and my heart and from the heart of Gaia, and I will speak again soon. Bye.